Thoughts of having an extra limb has crossed all of our minds, whether that's having an extra set of arms, legs, or maybe a third eye. And though all of these features may sound advantageous, the question is, what are these mutations actually like? Well, here are the stories and life experiences of 7 rare people who have extra body parts. Ganga and Jumana Mundell, aka the Spider Sisters. These twins are joined at the abdomen and pelvis, have 4 arms and 3 legs, they share a stomach and have 2 hearts, 2 kidneys, and 1 liver. This makes them one of the world's rarest conjoined twins. These two work as sideshow performers at Dreamland Circus, attracting tens and thousands of people who are amazed by what they see. In the past, they were examined by doctors to determine whether or not they could be separated. But the twins didn't really want to go through with it as the operation posed more risks than reward. And in fact, they're happy being as they are. Now, not only do they share the same body, but they also share the same man. They found love and are now married to their husband, who does his best to support them and give them as much joy as he can. Francesco Lentini, the 3-legged man from Sicily. Lentini was born in 1889 and was supposed to have a twin. Unfortunately, the embryos didn't completely separate in the womb, causing Lentini to be born with his siblings' body parts. A total of 3 legs, 4 feet with the 4th one being on his knee, 16 toes, and 2 male organs. When he was around 7 years old, the doctors decided not to remove the 3rd leg, simply because his extra limb was too close to his spine, and getting rid of it would cause Lentini to be paralyzed. A short while later, he was discovered by Vincenzo Magnano, who would bring him to America to join a traveling circus and become a sideshow performer by the name of the Great Lentini. And despite the early days of being ridiculed for his extra limbs, he later found himself to become a very successful man and a huge celebrity. Up next, Hong Hong. The average person has 10 fingers and 10 toes, and every now and then, you might meet someone with 1 extra digit. That's because polydactyly is a fairly common condition that affects 1 in every 1,000 births. But what if I told you Hong Hong was born with 31 digits, 15 fingers and 16 toes to be exact? Hong Hong's mother has polydactylism herself, with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, and during pregnancy, she was worried she'd pass that condition on to her son. However, she never expected the mutation to grow to this much of a degree. Hong Hong's parents wanted their son to have a normal life, so they were trying to raise funds for the surgery that would cost them roughly $30,000. And though they weren't initially able to afford it, one hospital in the country decided to lower the price and help their situation. Tommy, the man with 2 bananas who isn't afraid to use it. Surprisingly enough, this condition affects 5.5 million Americans and is caused by an irregular homeobox gene during the 4th week of pregnancy. And though a lot of people might be ashamed or embarrassed of their genetic defects, Tommy has no shame in his 2 bananas. In fact, he says guys would be jealous of his gift and would feel bad for not having 2 themselves. Not only that, but Tommy has to do the deed at least twice a day for health purposes. Cause you see, if he doesn't, then his prostate gets inflamed. He's been with over 1,000 women and counting, and when asked which one of his bananas is his favorite, he said it was the right one. Let me know if you guys think this is a blessing or a curse. Liang Zhuzhen, the unicorn woman. This 87-year-old Chinese lady had a massive horn growing out of her head. It started out as a small itchy mole many years ago, so they decided to use a traditional Chinese medicine to get rid of the irritation. And a few years later, that mole grew into a finger-like horn. The doctors examined it and couldn't figure out what it was, so they just left it as is. That was until one day, while her son was washing her hair, that horn got cracked and it broke off. However, it ended up growing back, but even bigger than last time. It turned out to be 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. Later on, the doctors claimed that this horn is actually a type of skin tumor called cornucutaneum, which requires surgery in order to be removed. The family is very hesitant to go through with the procedure due to the lady's old age because a lot of complications could arise. Stelios Arcadio, the man with 3 ears. Though most people on this list were born with their genetic mutation, Stelios decided to create his own. Cause you see, he's an artist with the vision of merging humans and technology. One in particular was growing a 3rd ear. The project began in 1996 and has continued for over 2 decades. Originally, he wanted the 3rd ear to be placed beside his existing ear, but that wasn't the most safe place to do it because it could have resulted in partial face paralysis. So instead, he ended up putting it on his arm from cells in the lab, which required 3 surgeons and 2 operations to complete. However, this ear isn't completely useless, because using a Wi-Fi network, they plan on allowing the entire world to listen to what Stelios hears, pretty much giving his body in the name of art and science. Josephine Myrtle Corbin, the woman with 4 legs. Josephine was born with a very rare condition called dipagus. I'm gonna save you the scientific hoopla, but it basically meant that she had 2 pelvises and 4 legs. The 2 legs in the middle were malformed with 3 toes and shorter than the outer 2 legs. And though she could move the 2 in the middle, they were not strong enough to be walked on. It was also said that she had 2 female organs as well, with each of them being independent from the other. She ended up getting a job at the circus, becoming one of the biggest attractions and highest paid freak show performers of that time. Later on, Josephine got married to a doctor and had 5 healthy kids. And it was said that 3 of them were born from one organ, while the 2 of them were born from the other organ. Alright, let me know which one of these stories shocked or intrigued you the most. As always, smash that like button for the algorithms, subscribe for a lot more content like this. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.